Who has seen a music video before? I'm Reagan Elkins. I own a company out of Chickasha, America. Who knows where Chickasha is? Yeah? 3 of you. Great. Sweet. So Chickasha is 30 minutes south of Oklahoma City. It's a tiny little town. We're known for a giant leg lamp. Have you seen that giant leg lamp?
I've seen one in Texas.
Yes. This guy's like, oh yeah, I've seen it. You've seen one in Texas. We have competition?
Actually, no, it's a leg chair.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, they can't be like us. Yeah, a leg chair. So that's pretty much what we're known for, that and University of Science and Arts. And then I have a tiny little film company out of Chickasha, okay? So I grew up a musician playing drums with my brothers. I have two brothers. I'm a drummer. Yep, you in the back. We used to play all kinds of gigs around Oklahoma. We had a few different bands growing up. And then my brothers decided to move off to Kentucky. Losers. But we're still doing music and stuff around here. Ryan just came to a concert I did recently. I had kind of put music aside for a while, focusing on videos and things like that, and finally trying to rediscover music a little bit. So, but in the meantime, for the past 5 years, we've been creating music videos, documentaries, commercials, a lot of corporate videos for different entities in the state of Oklahoma. So these are some of like the publications our music videos have played on. Just a variety of different places that some of the bands that we've partnered with have gotten their music videos to post at. So let's go to the next slide. These are some of the different clients that I work with. So Hinder, they did that song back in the day. You remember that song? Coming from the lips of a... Yeah. I'll butcher that. So yeah, but that I was like fangirling when we first worked with them. Now they're just bros or whatever, and they still tour around. They have a new lead singer, Darcy Lynn. She won America's Got Talent in 2017 with her puppets. You guys remember this? Yeah? She's now getting more into music. And then one of my favorite bands growing up was an Oklahoma City-based band called Aranda. And I've gotten to work with those guys, super cool. The Imaginaries, Kira, and St. Monroe, and a bunch of different other people. So that's kind of just my background. What I want to do today is talk about music videos. Why, if you're a musician or if you're getting into the music industry, what are music videos intended for? Why would you create them? And how can you utilize them to promote your band, to get your name out there, right? So let's just go with it. You ready? Hit it. You hit it? Oh, I already said, okay. Why make a music video? Anybody raise your hand. This is going to be interactive. So yes, you in the back.
Because it's like a narrative, and that way the imagery that you had in your head, you can translate to that.
Yes, a visual representation of your song, right? Anything else? Why else?
I think it showcases the artist's brand really well. I think if you're an artist who really wants to put out their band and their brand and connect that to their audience, I think a music video is a great way to do that.
Absolutely, brand. That's a great, and both of those are in this later, so that's perfect. Any other ideas? Yes.
The video in itself is like an extension or furthering the art of the music, and so now it's like a whole video with the music, and so that has many artistic aspects, like the visual and the music and everything. Yeah. And then also it would get your music onto more platforms, like say people who aren't just listening to music but they're watching videos, and they get your music also.
Yeah, it's a continuation of that art. Yeah, absolutely. And then you have the marketing aspect too. That's great. Any other thoughts? Those are all great answers. Next slide, please. So we live, hopefully you know this, we live in a visual-oriented culture. Who has Instagram and who has Facebook in here? Probably every single person, right? If you don't, I'm much respect, because that's a difficult one to avoid. But when I get on Instagram, it's video these days. Facebook, video. I remember Facebook, do you guys remember this back when it first came out? And it was, you just DM people, you chat, and you maybe post a picture. I remember when Instagram was actually photos. That was a while back, right? Now it's just videos, right? So we live in a visual-oriented culture. And the hard part as musicians, what I experienced even as I was had bands and all that stuff growing up, is how do I get more people to listen to my music in a visual-oriented culture, right? So next slide. So let's talk a few statistics. music videos can create an emotional and memorable experience, okay? So someone mentioned this, where it's more about continuing the art, right? It's not just the audio that you hear, which there's so much to music, right? And everybody has their own style, but how can we continue that in the visual world? So next slide. So OK Go.
In like one take, right?
Oh yeah. They do a lot of one takes. They do a lot of like Rube Goldberg machines where you have a bunch of random things that happen to accomplish a simple task. Just random things that they'll come up with. One is I believe it's in like an airplane. They do the zero gravity in an airplane. So it's all like eye-catching material, but they use it in tandem with their music, right? So the goal is not just to have a crazy video. The goal is to grab people's attention and be like, you know what? I want to check these guys out. And more people, because of this video, what do we got? 67 million views on this dinky. Look at the quality of this thing. They put a camcorder out and they push record. And 67 million views later, you know they've got tons of people going and checking out their music. So the next slide. This is another one of my favorite conceptual music videos, I think. Not my favorite artist, but visual representation of the music, okay? So this guy is talking about, in his song, he's talking about this breakup and tell me like what's going on, all this stuff. Here he's mowing nothing. There's another scene where his glass is being overfilled, right? He's just pouring and water is coming up over it. There's another one where she's vacuuming the carpet and it's already clean. There's so many really cool things that you can do visually to help tell your music story, right? So those are just a few visual representations. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so one of you mentioned online marketing. It's a marketing tool, right? So this is one of the reasons why you would create a music video, why bands should utilize a music video, okay? So music videos have been shown to significantly boost audience engagement across various platforms. So let's go here. Instagram Reels. You guys are on Instagram, right? And it's real. And I'll be honest with you, I get sucked in there for way too long. And I look at the clock, I'm like, holy crap, how long have I been sucked into this? In a minute, I'm gonna show you just today, I screenshotted how many like band ads that I got, and I put them on here later in the presentation, okay? So you can see how people are utilizing Instagram Reels. So there was a 35% increase in engagement with music-related content compared to last year, right? So 35% more are engaging with music, right? And now like you can even, like Instagram has licensed songs so you can utilize other people's songs. There's a whole world in and of Instagram itself. So go to the next one. And then YouTube Shorts as well. These have surpassed 2 billion daily views. Wouldn't it be crazy to have I just want 1 million views on something. That'd be awesome. With music videos accounting for 40% of the top performing content. That's huge, right? So they're really pushing music videos. Next one. And then for general marketing purposes, including videos in your marketing, so like email blasts and things like that, having music videos associated with those emails, people are more likely to click into what you have to say than they are without. So let's go next. So these statistics underscore substantial roles music videos play in enhancing engagement and expanding artist reach. Okay, next. All right, have you seen this face before? Johnny Valentine? There's this super annoying trend that was going on, and it was him that started it, okay? Listen, he's got some good music, but it's very repetitive. He did this online marketing campaign, basically where he had a new single come out, and the song is, "Don't let it slip away." It was the same thing over and over again, okay? But this dude freaking had this as a reel where he did the same type of video, copied and pasted over and over again. He ended up getting millions upon millions of views based off of his song. So new single, he figures out how to utilize like an Instagram reel, which we can still call these music videos, right? An Instagram reel to get his music and his name out to a bunch of different people, okay? So as repetitive as it may be, this artist clipped up sections of his song, created comedic reels, and absolutely blew up online, driving traffic to his music, okay? So here's the gray area. Here's what the baseline of what we're talking about here is, yes, we have artistic music videos, right? And then we have videos that are associated with our music that are more like, I don't know, influencer style videos, okay? Now, whether you want to tread that line or not, that is up to you. But in a minute, we'll talk about how you can even clip up your artistic style music videos, even practice sessions and things like that to get your name out and get exposure for your band. So let's go next. So from an artistic perspective, that's not a word. Go to the next one. So music videos give bands the opportunity to create a visual representation of their music, touching into other various forms of art. Okay. One thing I love about video and film, about what I get to do, is that you literally get to mix so many of the different art forms. Even back in the day, I nerd out about this stuff. Back in the day, they used to do what's called matte painting. So let's say that someone's driving down a road, but the road is not really visually appealing, okay? So let's say we want to put a castle in the background or whatever. These days, we would use CGI and we would digitally put it into the image, right? Back in the day, dude, they would paint on a piece of glass called a matte painting, and then they would leave open the certain area where in the scene the car is driving, right? So you had that kind of art, you had the film, the cinematography kind of art, and then you had the score, the music kind of art too, all working together to create a film. I love that aspect. And if you're interested in getting into like score for film and music for film and things like that, I have buddies that have a company that licenses music for feature films and for a variety of different films and things like that. If you're interested in that, I can give you some contact information. Let me know when you're after we're done here.
What company is that?
What company is it? It's Maggie McClure, is the person that you just said that you knew. Yeah, it's called Searchlight. Searchlight, yeah. So Searchlight Group, they do all kinds of cool like post-production services and things like that for musicians. So, okay, go to the next slide, please. So this can be an extension of your band's artistic vision. Yes. Expression adding depth to the music with visuals that enhance the storytelling and the mood of the song, okay? So my big emphasis with our company is storytelling, right? I also do some crazy random visuals too. It doesn't have to just follow a storyline, right? Sometimes you want some wild imagery as well. It depends on the song. And it depends on the band's brand, which is something we're going to talk about next. So go to the next slide. Okay, it's hard to see. It's hard to see. That's okay though. In this music video, there's a band called Aranda, who I was mentioning earlier. The song was called Light in the Dark, right? And it's very, oh, thank you very much. It was very clear that this song is going to have the back and forth between, they're caught between the light and the dark is basically the lyrics, right? Where they want to do what's good, but they also find themselves doing what's wrong. So we wanted to visually represent what was being, what the lyrics had, right? So I just thought of this image of this woman in a pit. And so we built this dirt, vines, and all that stuff in our studio on Chickasha Avenue. It's just a random room. And we bought all of Amazon's vines. And we put this poor woman in the pit. And basically at the end, the entire thing, she's trying to climb out of the pit, right? But she can't do it. And eventually the light comes down to her. And this was just a light bulb on a plug, plugged into an outlet, and then we masked around it so you can have the vines above it. So it looks cool in the end where the bulb comes down and she touches it and something happens, we don't know, right? So, but she's caught between the light and the dark, right? So she's stuck in the dark and she wants to get to the light, so we had a visual representation of that. So I'll go to the next one. This one is more ambiguous. This is more like there's no storyline, like what the heck is happening? You kind of have to read into things, right? So their brand, Hinder, is a lot more contrasty, dark, harder rock, things like that, right? So in this music video, he's talking about these things that he wants to get rid of, right? All these things that get him caught up in life. I want to get rid of all this crap, right? So each of these light bulbs, from my director mind, represents the things that he's trying to get rid of, right? And we can maybe play it later or something like that, but it's all the visuals. The light is just flashing. The lamps are flickering and going crazy. And at the end of it, this is on this side. At the end of it, we had him take a baseball bat and beat the crap out of all the lamps. So much fun, right? And so yeah, he got rid of all the things that were holding him back in life. In fact, this lamp right here, I keep this on my shelf at the office because it came back. He hit it straight at the camera and it hit a $250,000 camera rig. So sick. So luckily, it just hit the matte box and didn't break anything, but it was this close to an insurance claim. Super great.
At least recorded doing that?
It's in the music video. We left it in. I was like, there's no freaking way I'm leaving this out, bro. So yeah, no, it came, you can see it flying in slow motion, boom, and the camera just like dips. So sick. Okay, next slide. All right, so this is brand awareness. Yes. So let's go to the next one. So sorry, thank you for being the button guy. I appreciate you. On top of more reach and visual representation, videos give bands brand exposure. So this is identity, it's communication, tone, style, that all add cohesive imagery and set your band apart. Next. So let's open it up. What are some key elements of your band? Who has a band in here? Who's a part of a band? Yeah, so two people. Okay, so let's pick on y'all then. What is, she's like, crap. What are like some of your band's brand? Like what are some of those? Is it dark? Is it, like tell me about your band and what would be its brand.
We're a four-piece band.
Okay.
It's more emo rock, some more dark.
Nice.
Like headbanging kind of stuff.
Love it.
A good mix of covers and originals. We just finished our first music video.
Nice.
But yeah.
I do like some emo rock, by the way. I went to a Green Day. My band actually played. We don't do as much like punk or emo or anything like that. We went to a Green Day rap party for that Green Day movie that was shooting. I had a bunch of friends that work on it, and they were like, "Can you play some Green Day songs?" And I was like, "I have no idea. Like I don't know any Green Day songs." So like, "Can you learn some?" I was like, "Sure, why not? Let's do it." So yeah, we did it, and I screamed like for the first time. Haven't done that in a long time. Ripped up my voice for the next week. It was awesome. So much respect. So darker imagery. Four-piece band. So like on a flyer that you send out, what are some of the images? Is it like, what are some of the colors and things like that too?
So for our music video, we had, it was a murder, like, horror movie.
Oh, sick, yeah.
There's a line in the song that's twist the knife that you stab in my back, and so we kind of just
Played off of it.
there and tied into like the more dark-ish elements.
Yeah.
That,
So that's great. So if the song is darker, this is an easy question. I hope you guys can get this one right. Would it make sense to have, I think I have another image coming up right here. Yeah, would it make sense, now imagine this was brighter, it is usually brighter. Would it make sense if it's about stabbing and it's about darkness and it's all those things to have something super bright with nice colors and all that stuff in your music video?
I mean, you're artistically wanting that, like, sort of contrast with.
Yes. If you're playing onto how this doesn't make sense. If you want the contrast, yeah, absolutely. Those are fun, by the way. When it's like, what the crap am I watching? Like this does not go right along with the music video, right? Those are actually really fun. But for the most part, this won't make a whole lot of sense, right? Unless that's the intent of the director. So go to the next slide for me. Yeah, okay, so go back up. So for this band, go back to green, yeah. So for this band, their brand is adventure, earthy tones, all of those things, imaginaries. So we're going to imagine, we're going to have an adventure together type stuff, right? So green wardrobe, brown boots, earthy tones. We nailed that one, okay? And then the rest of the music video, even though there's some contrasting moments, it's very bright, it's outdoors, there's mountains in the background, we're going on a journey together and things like that, okay? That's their brand, all right? Then go to the next one. Here is a super dark band, right? This is ravens and contrast and dark rooms and all of those things. St. Monroe, love this band, by the way. We went to a basement in the middle of nowhere and hung a few lights, one above her right there as you can see, and put a couple mirrors in so you can have the reflection thing, and we just played with it. We went to town. Like at the end, I don't want to spoil it, but she walks through the mirror, which is super kind of cool. But yeah, it's darker tones, right? So that's this band's brand. It wouldn't make sense for this band to have the earthy tones and the brightness of the previous band, right? So as a music video director, one of the first things that I have to do when a band comes to me and says, hey, I want to make a music video, is I ask, okay, what's your brand? Can you send me colors? Can you send me, I'll look at their website. I'll just creep the website for a little bit. And sometimes the website is just the worst. You know what I mean? Like it's just someone put this together, which, you know, I do a lot of too. I've done before. And it's just random colors and things like that. But everything, what I'm getting at is everything in your band. And if you're going to, you know, help a band with their marketing or whatever that looks like, everything about the band has to have coherency, has to be consistent, right? So this music video needs to also reflect what the website looks like, or what photos that they take that go out online, or flyers for their next gig, or everything has to be consistent together. And that includes the videos that they put out into the world. So go next. Okay, this is the last portion, and then after we do this part, we can just talk and brainstorm about all kinds of different things. You can ask me 1,000 questions, whatever you guys want to do, okay? So I'm going to give you a quick strategy. This is not extensive whatsoever, okay? I'm going to give you baby steps on how to get your band's name out there using music videos, using reels, using social media content, okay? So let me ask this question. Who all is a music major? Or music, okay, everybody. Well, that's sick. Okay, that helps. Okay, so who all would, we talked about the people that have a band. Who all is interested in being in a band or working with bands? Working with bands. Okay, yeah, heck yeah. So what would you say that you're looking into doing?
Sound or being like a manager.
Love it. Yeah, the management side. Okay, how about you?
My dream is to be an artist, like
Nice.
solo artist, not like a band, but work. I would have to touring. I'd have to have a band with me probably.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly just like would vibe with doing whatever in the music industry.
Yeah, music industry is so much fun. It's changing even since when I was a kid too. When y'all were young, when there were CDs, I remember putting tapes in when I was really little, and tapes are coming back, by the way. It's pretty sick. So, but I remember how everything has changed though. You used to have like just bags of CDs that you take into your car ride. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you even fit 150 CDs in this thing, but you make it work? And then you play it in the car. You got to have your mixtape and all that stuff. And now everything is digital, and musicians make garbage. You know what I mean? There's no longer CD sales. There's no longer all that stuff. So things are changing. And even in the film industry, a lot of things are changing with AI and with all kinds of random things like that. So the question is, how are musicians, or people that are going to be working with musicians, how can we pivot, learn new tricks to maintain attention to our audience, right? How do we get our name out there if we're either starting from nothing or if we're an independent artist, whatever that looks like? How do we get our name out there? And here's a very quick, easy peasy strategy. If you try this, I believe that cool things will happen for you, whether it explodes or whether you'll get more followers or whatever that looks like. So let's start with this. So this is your list, okay? If you're in a band, or if you're helping a band, or if you're managing it, whatever those things are. This is the steps that I would take initially. Now, there are people that are way more legit than me in this stuff. This is what I've learned, a small portion of what I've learned doing music videos with the variety of bands that I've worked with, okay? So start creating content. Unfortunately, as a musician, as a freaking business for myself, I have to become, in this world, in this day and time, a freaking content creator, right? Now, do I want to become the people that are dancing on TikTok? Absolutely not. That will not ever be me. I'm not going to do it, okay? But the content is extremely important, all right? Because it gets your name out there. It establishes awareness for you and your band. It establishes awareness for my company. It also gives yourself authority. You guys are legit. We know how to play music. We can bring it. So one is start creating content. What can that look like? Well, how about record some of your live gigs? Put a freaking phone out, or get a camcorder and put a phone out. These days, a lot of live venues will have a digital board that you can output from USB to your digital audio workspace. And you can just multi-track, push record, and you have a multi-track recording of your entire gig, right? So just have your laptop ready and then push record. How about practice sessions? You're about to see like the variety of different reels that I just saw today, okay? So how about practice sessions? You're practicing in your room, you're singing a song, you've got your acoustic guitar or your piano or whatever, and you just push record. And maybe there's 15 seconds that you don't suck. And you're like, oh crap, I'm going to use this. Put it online. Then day in the life videos. What does it look like for a band? I think the biggest thing that people are missing right now, and this is just a little in from my view, is from my perspective, a lot of the bands that are really doing well are telling a story. They're bringing their audience along with them, telling a story like, okay, so here we're going to go to this town, and we're going to do this and that. Oh, it's really hard to get through the industry in this world, or whatever your narrative is. You know what I mean? So they're telling a story. Music videos, okay? This is what I do, right, professionally. So create music videos. Then don't just have a 3-minute music video. So you just did a music video, right? Clip the crap out of that song and make reels, vertical reels, so that whenever you're promoting the song, hey, our music video is going to come out in 10 days from now, it's the countdown. You have 10 seconds of the best part of your song that's going to hype people up to click into that video. You know what I mean? So, and then even after it's posted, you've got short little reels that you can post that may get on people's timeline this time. Because we live in a world where most of the things that I see on my homepage are ads. You slide, add, sponsored stuff. But I'm going to show you how to do it in a minute to a certain degree. Okay? So, but you want to post as much as possible so you can get on people's timeline. Anything that shows off your band and your brand. Remember too, even with these little reels, keep the visuals consistent. Okay, so even how you speak, your descriptions, the imagery that you have, everything needs to be consistent, okay? So then clip videos up into reels, I just said that. And then, big one, link all your platforms. You know how many bands that I follow that they have the Instagram page, but there's no link where you click in and you can go to their website or the landing page where you can listen to all their music. They have their Spotify and their Apple and all their links, right? So you need to link all your platforms so that if someone is interested, they can listen more. You want to draw them in, right? So in a ClickFunnels scenario, this is in the business world, but you guys should totally use this too. In a ClickFunnels world, we call this awareness at the top. This is where you're going to have a bunch of random people that'll watch for like half a second. And there may be the one or two that'll watch the entire video. Then they'll click into on your page or into your next video or your song or whatever. We call this the impact phase. So you have awareness, impact. These are people that are clicking in to your page. And then you have conversion. The ultimate purpose with Instagram and all those things, one, to share your art, right? And two, is to convert fans, right? You want people to click in and become a follower. Click that follow button, click into your link, and go listen to your music, right? And then you have people that when you go to the next place, when you go to the next venue, more people are going to show up, right? So link your platforms, build your content, right? So I would say build a content base first. So go film yourself practicing, go film yourself at a live gig, go do all that. Or if you have buddies, if you're managing a friend, have them do these things, right? Build up your content online and then engage with your followers. So comment, thank you, when people say, hey, great stuff, I love it. Or people that are similar to you or they follow similar bands, engage with your followers, right? So go to the next one. Okay. So let's talk specifically, obviously we're talking primarily, this is social media, this is Facebook. The goal with a music video, we've talked about it. It's a marketing piece, it's artistic expression, it's conveying your brand the way that you want. It's not just music videos that you should create though. There's so many bands that I've worked with that have just made a music video, didn't do anything else, and they're like, why am I not getting the views that I wanted? That's not how the world works these days. You don't just put a video out and hope for the best, right? You have to do multiple things with it. Like for example, my older brother is an extremely talented musician. He's Southern rock, he's got a Chris Stapleton thing going on or whatever that looks like. And he just put a song out into the universe, did not do anything with it, somehow got 50,000 plays on YouTube Music, but imagine what he would have done if he really pushed. You know what I mean? So how do we really push? Let's say you made a new music video. Number one thing you should do is create an awareness hook. Okay, what's a hook? Anybody?
Attention
grabber.
It's an attention grabber. So in a documentary world, I do a lot of documentaries. The first minute is your hook. It's all the images that people want to see that will draw people in to continue watching your film. Even in a music video, you have to have this. I think the stats were something like the majority of videos that go up online, either they're not watched at all or people click away after 3 seconds. So these days, it's no longer a minute, it's freaking 3 seconds. You got to grab people's attention immediately. So create a hook. So what I would suggest for your new music video, before it ever goes live, clip a hook. One of the dopest moments of that song. Visually appealing, musically appealing, all of those things. Put that out first and say, hey guys, 1 week from today, 1 week countdown, blah, 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 blah. And you get people hyped from that hook, right? So this is an energetic clip from a recent music video and an invite to your upcoming gig. It could be that too. So input whatever you want here. Your hook could be, you're about to play a gig and you want people to show up, right? So you have to create some sort of click funnel to get people interested in going to that gig. Now, I just did a gig recently and I did a few different things, okay? This is kind of a tester. One, I did the old-fashioned text spam all my friends, which I'm sure if you're in a band, you do that too. I spammed all my friends, okay? And then two, I put a video out inviting people to show up, right? I didn't sponsor the video, I should have, but you put a video out inviting people to show up to your event, right? You want to hook it too. So what I did was I found a clip of a song that I'm going to release in a few months, the best portion of that, and just put it out there first. So before I even said, hey, come check out my gig, there's a clip of me singing of what I thought was probably the best portion of that song. So it could be an invite. And then you want to build your target audience. So in social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, and all these things, build your target audience. So another question about brand and all those things, and something you guys should think of if you're working with a band or if you are in a band, who is your target audience? Who's listening? What age demographic? What area? All of those things, who are your demographics? And then spam them. Sponsor ads to those people. Okay? So go to the next slide, please. We're almost done. Thank you, guys. Today, I was scrolling and just randomly, and I was like, holy crap, these are all bands. And I just screenshotted it, okay? What's one thing you guys notice that's consistent with all these guys?
Visit Instagram profile.
Visit Instagram profile. There's only one that says learn more. But that one is promoting the gig that they're about to play. Breaking, Oklahoma City, are you ready? Okay? All of them is visit Instagram profile. Another thing you can see, look at the bottom left, y'all. They're all freaking sponsored. These people paid to get it in front of me. How did I get this video? Because I'm in a band and I make music videos. They freaking targeted me, those turds. Okay, so I was targeted. They used the algorithm to get me, right? I actually clicked on this to see where this guy's playing because I thought it was chill, right? So sponsored. What I just showed you is exactly what they just freaking did. They sponsored an ad. This is a music video, now available streaming on all platforms, and the official music video available on YouTube. Holy crap. This was like 15 seconds long, if that. They did exactly what I said. So create reels. The world that I'm explaining to you is not just a world where, even when I started making music videos, was more of just like you made a 3-minute video and you put it out in the universe and you hope for the best. Or you get a publicist, and you try to sell it to different entities like American Songwriter or Monster, all this stuff to try to get your name out there, right? These days, you gotta get on social media. Or, here's the caveat. If your intent with music is just to do it for fun, which is kind of what I'm doing right now, because I need a hobby away from my video stuff, then just do whatever you want. If you want to take it seriously, if you want to try to make money with it, these are some steps that you have to take, right? Or find somebody, a social media management or whatever, to do this stuff for you. Okay, so that blew my mind. That was within, look at the timestamps by the way, 4 minutes. That's freaking crazy. Okay, next one. All right, this is kind of the last question I have, but what are some successful independent bands doing? So the people that you follow, I think one of the things, the homework that I think you should go home with is go stalk them. Go look at their Instagram, go look at their Facebook, their website, whatever they're doing online, and check out what these guys are doing. And then maybe you can orient your strategy based off of what's successful for them. You know what I mean? Try out different things. Okay, next. Okay, here's some opportunities that we have with my company in partnership with a few different entities locally in Chickasha. Go down for me. So Records Music Festival. Who has heard about Records Music Festival? Okay, this is first year, okay? In this first year, and I'll show you in the next slide, we had, for the last 3 years, a film festival called Wrecking Ball Film Festival, okay, where you have 24 hours to create a film. And in that 24 hours, you have to have a specific genre, a line of dialogue, and a prop that you use, okay? So 3 years in, as a musician, I'm like, wait, why can't we do this for musicians too? And so this coming Saturday, is our awards show. You've already missed the competition, unfortunately. We had a whole bunch of people submit. We had 120 participants in our first year all around the state of Oklahoma. Only 40 bands made the 24-hour deadline, okay? So 40 made it in, but there's some killer songs that people made in 24 hours. So if you have a laptop or a freaking iPhone, you can record a song in 24 hours and potentially make $2,500, get a free music video through my company, and then a spotlight performance at Droverstock from USAO and the Oklahoma Food Truck Championship. Crazy cool things with this thing. So put this in your back pocket for next year, okay? But if you're around in Chickasha, if you haven't seen the Leg Lamp yet, come to Legends Pub House and Venue. We're gonna have some of our contestants play live music. We're gonna have this big awards ceremony, and the film and music office will be there too. So it's gonna be super cool. Here's something that hasn't happened yet that you guys can get involved with. Go to the next one, please. This is Wrecking Ball, okay? Let's say everything I've talked about today, you're interested in the film side, okay? I know you're all musicians, but you also want to dip your toes into the video side, okay? We've had people submit that don't know jack about filmmaking. They get their cell phone out and they make a video, okay? And we've actually had some newbies in the film industry win the stinking thing. Why? Because it brings down the professionals, because professional dudes, I've worked with a lot of them, they are used to spending hours and hours and hours lighting and setting and prepping a scene. They can't do that. There's only 24 freaking hours. So the dudes that are just running and gunning with the cell phone, oftentimes are doing even better, as long as the story is strong, than the guys that are pros in this, okay? So it's super fun. If you're interested in dipping your toes into it, if you want to try it out, here's the QR code to sign up for this thing. It's a great way to learn, possibly make some money, and gain exposure. You can also use your own stinking music in your video. So you have your own score. So, all right, then last thing is here's how to follow me. We can connect. Love to hear your music, love to see what you're working on, and all of those things. And thank you guys. I appreciate your time. Any questions that you guys want to ask about music videos, about branding, and exposure and all that stuff? Any questions? Are you good?
My camera really sucks.
My Zoom function stopped working. Yes, in the back.
Does any of the branding stuff at all change for solo artists? And if so, what? Like, are there any kind of minute details, or is it mostly the same?
A lot of it's the same. So even some of the larger bands that I work with, they're becoming more and more like social media influencers. The branding, it's just as important, I would say, for the big guys as it is the little guys, because everything has to be consistent, right? So even for small businesses, it works really with a bunch of different entities. So for my business, I have to have consistent branding in everything that I put out, right? So whether you're an independent artist or whether you're a large band, your branding has to be consistent. So I think as early on as possible that you can define your brand, who your target audience is, what your imagery is it darker, is it bright, whatever those things are. Even to the things so minute as font. What's your freaking font, you know? So some bands have their font and that's it. So, and businesses do the same thing. You got to have your brand. So I think it's just as important for the little guy as it is for the big one. So, did that answer your question? Great. Any other questions?
What kind of documentaries do you do?
I do a lot of different documentaries, a lot of corporate documentaries. So testimonials and things like that, where we work with a company called Heart Trailer. They make horse trailers, believe it or not. And we go to all different places in the United States to interview people that pull a Heart Trailer. And the stories we've been able to tell are pretty awesome. One that won an International Telly Award was a story with this woman named Amberly Schneider. She's a paraplegic barrel racer. So she had a car wreck. She lost the use of her legs, but she was a barrel racer. And she was like, oh, my life's over. My life's ruined. And then months go by, depression and all those things. She decides to literally get back up on the horse and try again. Now there's a movie about her on Netflix called Walk, Ride, Rodeo. She was featured in a movie that I executive produced and co-produced back in 2021 called A Cowgirl's Song. We filmed 100% in Chickasha, America, and Amberly came to be featured in that. That was a documentary that we created just telling her story. And then Heart Trailer created a trailer that she could lower like the tail of the trailer, get her horses in and out of the trailer automatically. She could get lifted up into the living quarters section while she's on her wheelchair. All kinds of amazing things that this trailer company was able to build. And that's the type of storytelling I love to tell. Those are the many documentaries that we do. Any other questions? Yes.
What kind of budgets do you work with for those music videos?
Yeah, so budgets can vary dramatically. It depends on the band, right? So if it's an indie band, sometimes I get a phone call and be like, what can you do with $1,000? And I'll say, I can't do anything, I'm sorry. I used to do a lot of $1,000 videos, but now that I have a company that I'm building, we just can't. You know what I mean? So a lot of the music videos we work with, anywhere from like 5,000 to upwards of 16, 17, 18,000. It just depends on the project, you know what I mean? So we'll do like live videos or basic videos for maybe $2,500. It just depends on the project. We also have a studio. So you know that Vine pit that we built? That's in our studio at my office in Chickasha. So we have a lot of space where bands can just come in, and it's cheaper just to come in and us just film something basic in our studio with the white sidewall and green screens and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So, but yeah, it varies dramatically. So that's another question too. So one time I was interviewed by the Oklahoma Film and Music Office about creating music videos with the Imaginaries, one of my clients and friends. And I was so baby at that time that they asked that question. They asked a question similar, which was, how do you budget for a music video, right? And I think I word saladed for probably 10 minutes because I honestly, at that time, I was so baby in that I didn't know, right? And so it has everything to do with the band, has to do with the song, the imagery, and all of those things. There's so many different aspects that would change the budget of your film. So oftentimes, because I'm a musician, I know that a lot of musicians do not have a ton of money. I understand that life. I ask, what's your budget? Okay, which sometimes is a dangerous thing to say because they might say a number and then they've anchored you to that number, right? So sometimes it's dangerous. But for musicians, I like to hear what their budget is. And then we can kind of play in that area, and we'll just see what happens. But yeah, that's kind of the budget range. I haven't done any $50,000 music videos or $100,000 or $1 million Post Malone videos yet, but we're gonna get there someday. Any other questions?
What was your favorite one you did?
Oh, that's a tough one. What's my favorite music video? I think every time I do a new music video, that's my favorite. Which is just a cliche answer, but it's true.
What's your favorite music video, like, in general?
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh, frick.
Name a couple.
Yeah.
Really? You need to get on my playlist, my music video playlist. There's 100. There's 100 that I would say are inspirational to me. But I would look at some bands. Like Billie Eilish has some interesting conceptual music videos. Those are newer videos. And then I would say like Journey's old stuff, dude. Oh my gosh, that's the problem. It's like you can ask me that, but I'm gonna have so many different so much different taste in this because it depends on the song and the genre and all that stuff too. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you look at some of the oldies, in fact, we did a music video. It's called 1982, and we stole a bunch of ideas from like some of the 80s music videos. So Journey was one of them, and it's like super glossy imagery where they put Vaseline on the lenses and things like that, and so we used a lot of that type of imagery for this music video called 1982 at Dangerous Hippies. And we had technology and lasers and all kinds of random things, but all of the makeup and the design was based off of some of those old music videos. So yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Because I also I'll get into some freaking Breaking Benjamin music videos, Creed. It just depends. It depends on my mood for the month too. Because I'll have an indie part of the month, and I'm like, okay, let's listen to that indie music for a little bit. And then I'll get into punk rock, and then I'll get into like divorced dad rock, Hinder and Creed, Breaking Benjamin, and I'll do all that stuff. So it just depends on my mood. I wouldn't say that I have a favorite though. Yeah.
Can you elaborate on divorced dad rock as much as I feel like I already know?
Creed, bro. That is the epitome. By the way, one of my clients is on the same management staff that Creed is, so I'm trying to work that right now. How sick would that be if I can get Creed? That'd be awesome. Yes, you.
I was just going to say, so you'd say you have a sort of wide-spanning music taste, and so you sign on for different projects, not necessarily taking into regards like, oh, this genre or this genre I can't do very well, or is there any limitations to that in terms of your skill? Or?
That's a great question. I would say, because as a director, also Nickelback, by the way, as a director, and also like a film company owner, you really have to find who is your target market, right? So my primary in the corporate world, my primary clients that I work with are more industrial. So these are contractors, these are horse trailer manufacturers, you name it, dirt work, things like that. I'll do a lot of videos for those type of people. What I've found is I really don't have a limitation on myself where I'm not going to work with an indie pop band. You won't find me doing that. I don't have that limitation, but most of the phone calls that I get are rock, a little bit harder rock. And I think that I've kind of developed that as part of my brand now, that most of the calls I get is that. So no, I don't have it as a limitation, but I do find myself working with primarily those people.
You can kind of slip your way into a certain niche just by trying your best and actively doing your
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I would say so. I don't think that, as long as I understand their brand right? And then I would also do a lot of research on what other music videos directors are doing in that world too. And I think I can pivot pretty decently, but I haven't really, we've done Americana, country, like I said, a lot of rock and pop. I have not gotten into the R&B rap world, except for when I was 16 years old. We did a rap video called Saving My Clams and Classy Man. Don't ever pull those up. They're not on YouTube anymore. You can't pull them up anyway, but it was hilarious. We were just on the streets rapping about being classy. So it was stupid. But yeah, no rap videos. I haven't done much of those, but like I said, most of the calls I get are rock. So, and they're fun. I think I probably fall back on listening to rock music more than anything these days. So, yes.
Do you ever have to sell the idea of a music video to people, or do they see the value in it?
Yes. That's a great question. Yes, I do. Let me pull up an example. Not only do I have to sell, this is a whole other side. This is a directing side, something that we don't have time for. But not only do I have to sell the idea of a music video to bands sometimes, depending upon the band. Most of them understand the value, but majority of the time is I have to sell the idea. So today I had a band send me 2 new songs that have to be out by freaking May. So I'm already scrambling, I don't know how we're gonna do that. But they were like, okay, give me your ideas. And I can't tell you how difficult that is, but I love that challenge. When it's here's a song, now tell me the visuals and sell me on the visuals. And sometimes I'll do 2 different visuals, 2 or 3, at 2 different budget tiers too, right? So I'll do, here's a basic package where it's just us kind of showing up. We'll do some, performance content, whatever that looks like, maybe a small storyline. And then here's the larger package where you're gonna have a bunch of crazy stuff, a bunch of different scenes, stunts or actors, paid actors, and all kinds of crazy things too. So sometimes I'm creating multiple different pitch packages to pitch to the band, right? And it has to be visually, like where they can understand the visuals just by reading it or seeing the imagery that I have. So yeah, I do, yeah.
So it's kind of a variety of bands who have a certain vision and they want you to execute it versus on the other side of sort of that spectrum, they have no idea but they want you to make it.
Yes.
Is there like an in-between that you have to kind of switch back and forth between for different projects and bands that you go through?
Yes. I would say most of the people that are consistent clients, they already know that I've delivered before, so I could probably do it again. They'd see the value of a music video. They understand these different points that we just made. The brand awareness, the marketing, the artistic value, and all that stuff. They understand all those things. So I don't have to sell to those people, but there might be a new band, and this has happened before, that I've never worked with. Oh yeah, I'll give you an example right now. Aranda, you saw that video? They didn't know who I was. They didn't have a care in the world who I was. They didn't even know that I grew up a teenager listening to their music and how influential they were for me and my brothers growing up in our music. So when I pitched to them, I was like, hey, I got this crazy idea for this new song that you got. I'd love to pitch it to you. Let me throw it out there. So most of the time when I'm pitching something, I really don't have to educate too much on, like for a band, on why a music video is important, because most of them already know that. They know that they need to create them, but maybe they don't know all the finer details on the why, but they know they need that in a visual-oriented culture. So, but yeah, no, I've experienced kind of the whole spectrum there.
Yeah, like is there an artist first sort of policy that y'all have, or is it like a joint project between you as like a studio and producer and musician wanting to have a visual representation for it?
Yes. So sometimes bands will come to me and say, hey, I have this idea. Is that where you're getting with this? Yes. Sometimes they have the idea ready. And sometimes they'll say, I have no freaking clue what we're doing. Please come up with 10 ideas. And I try as much as I can. These days, it's so easy just to pop it into ChatGPT. And if you are like doing your own videos, maybe, you can kind of look into that. I try to avoid ChatGPT for things like that because I want it to be like my art and their art and things, but it's totally up to you guys. But oftentimes, either they'll have half of an idea, or there's Darcy Lynn, Push Our Luck, that was 100% scripted out by her. 100% her. So go look up Darcy Lynn, Push Our Luck. It has Intellego Media logo, but she's so talented, dude, that she had the whole outline made, shot for freaking shot. She knew exactly what scene to be in, and I just had to take it in and put it all together, hire the right people, and find the locations and do all the producing and directing stuff. So yeah, there are occasions where people already know what they want to do. I just have to deliver and make their art come to life because they don't have the skill to do it professionally. And then there's the other people that just don't even know where to begin, So I think that's kind of where I'm getting with this too. It's like, if you're a musician, if you work with musicians, maybe try to start thinking visually. So if you're creating music or whatever that looks like, what would be a visual representation of your music and your brand? Maybe it's something wild. Maybe the colors are crazy. Maybe it makes 0 sense on screen. Go for it. Maybe it's very contrasty and very story-driven. Freaking go for it. But start thinking visually with your music. So, any other questions? These are great questions, by the way. So cool. Do what?
Last question.
Yeah, okay.
The lamps.
Do what?
Where'd you get the lamps?
Thrift stores. Thrift stores, bro. Yeah, so we went to a bunch of thrift stores in Norman and Chickasha, and I think maybe one in Oklahoma City. Found a bunch of lamps that were like, I think they were like $5 to $10 a piece, and I asked if they could, take some money off on that, because if I buy bulk. And so we did it. What we did was we used a DMX controller. So we plugged in to different circuits into this DMX controller. So all the different lamps flickered on different frequencies. So one would be lighting up, and then the other one would light up, and then the other one would light up. So it's really kind of a cool idea. But yeah, the lamps were super cheap. We also needed them to be cheap because we were going to beat the crap out of them at the end of the video. So that was sick. My favorite part of that, though, that music video, is I said, hit in the opposite direction of the camera, and then they went the other way and hit the camera. So super sick. But it's all good. It worked out. So yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.